Okay, so we just took these out of the freezer. They've been in there for over 2 days. Cartridge 2 that we used the first time is coming in at 6 5/8 like it was. And cartridge 1 is coming in at 6 1/2 like it was. And we're going to go put them, cartridge 1 goes on the reactor and cartridge 2 goes on the sole, and we'll get another boil time and then weigh the canisters yet again, and we'll give you all the information at the end. Alright. Okay, the canisters are at 35 degrees and they've been in the freezer for 2 days. So once again, that's the outside of the metal being affected by the ambient air temperature. And 36.
Get this started, and here we go. There we are.
All right. This time we lit the sole, the Jetboil sole first instead of the reactor, to see if that was the difference in the 15 seconds. All right, they're both open all the way, and it shouldn't be long now. It's about 48 degrees out, and the cartridges have been in the freezer, sub-freezing for 2 days. And as you can see, the Jetboil appears to be, the flame pattern appears to be fine. The reactor is good to go. There's steam rising already after 51 seconds. See you in a minute. Alright, what do we got here? Got a boil on the Jetboil, reactor at under 2, 158, and get that off. Jetboil, not there yet, just about. There we go, rolling boil 217. Okay. Once again, it looked like even with lighting the Jetboil first, it's only about a 15-second difference. And to me, 15 seconds is absolutely nothing when considering the weight difference and the fuel consumption difference. We're going to weigh these cartridges, and I'm sure that the reactor uses more fuel. It's probably, it's got a wider surface area here that it's heating. The pot's larger, so it's a larger heat sink. But the efficiency on this Jetboil sole, I think, is going to be unsurpassed. So we'll be back in a minute. Second boil on each cartridge. For the cartridge 1 for the reactor, weight's going to come in at 6 1/4 ounces. So that means it used about 1/4 ounce. And the Jetboil sole, going to come in at 6 3/8, and we'll give you the numbers in a minute. There it goes. It's about 4-second difference. And there we go. All right. We've got a discrepancy on the amount of fuel used, so we're just going to run 5 or 6 tests and average them out, see what we have. Almost. All right, we're working on a reactor, has got a rolling boil 150, Jetboil at Jetboil's got it at 2. Canister 1 is coming in at 173 grams. That's for the reactor. And 177 for the Jetboil sole. Alright, it would appear that if we average out the numbers only on 3 boils, that the Jetboil sole consistently uses less fuel, about 1 gram less. So if the Jetboil sole is using approximately 6 grams each time, and the reactor is using, and the reactor is consistently faster by 10 to 15 seconds. The research suggests that the reactor should boil 11 liters per 100 grams of fuel, which is about what's in a canister. They actually contain 110. Jetboil looks like it boils around 12 liters per 100 grams. At least that's what's documented. Now, when you're using these fuels, it would appear that the Snow Peak, at least for what's available in New England, it's basically Snow Peak or the MSR fuel, and the Snow Peak has 15% more propane than the MSR cartridge. So for cold weather use, you certainly want to go with the Snow Peak cartridge as opposed to the MSR cartridge. The Jetboil cartridge also comes in at anywhere from 20 to 30% propane, which can be from 5 to 15% less propane than the Snow Peak. So it's less money, has more fuel. I would just stick with the reactor cartridge. Is not going to boil up as much water as the Sol. So it's more efficient, but boy, that reactor really shines if it's really windy, and if you have a couple of people where you're boiling more water in one sitting. Okay, so in closing, we'll finish our experiments. It would appear that you could boil 16% more water with the Sol than with the reactor when using 110 gram canister, which is the smaller canisters, and when you're boiling 2 cups of water at a time in each respective pot. If you're going with a couple of people, the reactor looks like a great idea, and if you're going solo, clearly the Jetboil Sol would be the one to take. It appears to be more efficient, and it appears to work as effectively as the reactor in cold weather when there is not an extreme amount of wind. As soon as you add that windscreen to the Jetboil, you should get information online regarding cold weather use with the cartridges. Insists that you get the cartridge that's got more propane in it, other than you should have some isobutane, and it should have 0 N-butane in it. So I know Yukon's probably sticking with a 4-season, which has got a really these stoves are very effective in cold weather, and Snow Peak claims that their cartridge will work down to around 15 degrees, and I would say there should be no issue all day long, given that the cartridge was in the freezer for a couple of days and still worked very well. So I would, if you err on the side of caution, I guess 15 degrees, but I would say that you could probably get away with down near 0. Alright, cartridge. So you can boil, final note, 18.3 sets of 2 cups of water in the Jetboil Sol aluminum, as opposed to the 15.7 boils of 2 cups of water on the MSR reactor, and that comes out to the Jetboil Sol boiling about 14.2% more water on the same cartridge. So what we've got is a higher efficiency level on the Jetboil than on the reactor for 2 cups of water in these conditions. However, the reactor will boil 2 cups of water consistently 10 to 15 seconds in the Jetboil, and to me, I much prefer to have the fuel savings than 10 seconds, which is pretty much negligible. Safe trails. Peace.